Welcome to the news on ENYIMBA TV. We are reaching you from the commercial city of Aba. First, the headlines. Abia State government orders reversal of command promotions granted in the civil service over the past 8 years. Federal government to send 2,700 fertilizer trucks to states to tackle food insecurity. President Tinubu creates Ministry of Livestock Development to stop farmers-herders clash. Thanks for joining us on the news at this time. I am Mary Ihejirika. Now the news in details. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti is ordering the reversal of all command promotions granted within the state civil service over the past 8 years. In a circular issued by Dr. Mrs. N.Q. Obioma, the head of service, the state government mandates all affected public servants to revert to their former ranks and salary grades prior to the April 2023 promotions. According to Dr. Obioma, the measure is intended to restore normalcy, seniority, and the sanctity of service, which had been compromised over the time. The statement added that the decision seeks to uphold the integrity of the public service by ensuring adherence to established public service rules and regulations. Abia State government is announcing that enforcement against street trading and illegal motor park operations in Aba and Umuahia has commenced. The Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Prince Uzonwachuku, said the government has so far shown understanding and applied human face to the enforcement and will now act accordingly. The commissioner, who is also the chairman of Abia State Harmonized Task Force, also reiterated the ban on illegal motor parks, roadside mechanic workshops, conversion of streets and public roads for religious, social and commercial functions. Meanwhile, the Abia State government, through the Commissioner for Information, Prince Okekano, is lamenting over the rise in vandalism of public schools and other public property in the state. He advised traditional rulers, presidents general of town unions and other stakeholders to protect public properties in their communities. There is a global cholera outbreak, including Nigeria, with at least 30 fatalities reported in Lagos since the beginning of the year, prompting urgent warnings from health officials. The outbreak has primarily been attributed to contaminated water and inadequate sanitation. In this report filed in by Ifoma Nkwanta, ENYIMBA TV and Radio Limited spoke with Xavier Wankwo, a medical professional practicing in both the United Kingdom and Nigeria, to discuss the disease, its transmission, treatment and preventive measures. We also spoke with residents of Aba about the steps they are taking to prevent cholera, to understand public awareness and response.
Nigerian health officials have issued warnings about a cholera outbreak that has claimed the lives of at least 30 people, many of whom were in the commercial capital of Lagos since the beginning of the year. According to the Lagos State Ministry of Health, the primary cause of the cholera outbreak has been linked to the consumption of contaminated water and inadequate sanitation. Although there has been no confirmed cholera cases in Abia State, ENYIMBA TV and Radio Limited took the initiative to speak to Mrs. Sylvia Wankwo, a medical practitioner based in both the United Kingdom and Nigeria. Mrs. Wankwo provided a comprehensive overview of cholera, including its causes, how it spread, and the primary sources of infection.
And I am a medical practitioner. Cholera is a bacterial infection that is gotten from contaminated water. The bacteria is the Vibrio cholerae. It's a deadly virus. It will cause rapid diarrhea.
While the cholera outbreak has predominantly affected Lagos, awareness and preventive measures are crucial across all states, and lifestyle adjustments are essential steps in combating the spread of cholera. Ifoma Nkwanta reporting.
President Bola Tinubu has announced the creation of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development in a move expected to end the perennial clashes between pastoralists and farmers. The president approved the creation of the ministry when he inaugurated the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reforms at the Council Chamber of the State House in Abuja. With the move, President Tinubu says Nigeria can now look forward to maintaining the quality and safety of these perishable goods from farm to market, thereby reducing food waste and ensuring a stable supply. ENYIMBA TV News gathers Nigeria has been locked in years of conflicts between farmers and headers. Senate is calling for the federal government to address the impending food insecurity challenges in the country. The call was sequel to a motion by Senator Sunday Karimi of Kogi West during the plenary, where he said the prices of basic foodstuffs such as rice, beans, tomatoes, onions and others have increased by more than 100%. Other lawmakers supported the motion and raised concerns that food insecurity is approaching. Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio says there is an ongoing plan to distribute about 60 fertilizer trucks to each state through the governors before the weekend. 7 senators will also receive 2 trucks of fertilizer each, while members of the House of Representatives will receive 1 each from the distribution to address the impending food insecurity in the country. Mr. Akpabio during the plenary said he got the information from the chairman of the Senate Committee on Agriculture, Saliu Mustafa. He also clarified that he was not attacking the governors but only relaying the information he got from the committee. Senate is asking the federal government to halt the winding down of the National Film and Video Censors Board, NFVCRB, citing a breach of the law. This resolution was reached following a debate on a motion sponsored by Senator Ogoshi Onawo from Nasarawa during plenary. The lawmaker expressed concern over a directive of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, George Akume, to a minister for immediate wind down of the parastatal agency in implementation of Orasanye report. According to Mr. Onawo, the process of winding down an agency of government which came into force through an act of parliament should first commence with the repeal of the act establishing the said agency. Following a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by 88 members, the House of Representatives is asking the federal government to suspend the implementation of the Samoa Agreement until all controversial clauses are addressed and spelled out. In moving the motion, a member of the House, Aliyu Madaki, drew attention to the clause which highlights gender equality and describes it as a Trojan horse which could violate the morals of the country. The House also mandated its relevant committees to investigate the controversial provisions of the agreement. ENYIMBA TV gathers that controversy has enveloped the Samoa Agreement signed by the federal government with the European Union, with many frowning upon what they thought was the recognition of lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender LGBT rights by the Nigerian government. The House of Representatives has made significant inroads towards providing additional seats for women in the National Assembly and the 36 Houses of Assembly as it passed for second reading a bill seeking the creation of 74 seats for women in the National Assembly. While some wholly supported it, others called for critical observation as they drew attention to the provision of the Constitution that warned against making discriminatory laws. The bill had failed in the Constitution amendment process of the 9th Assembly when it was voted against by Parliament. House of Representatives has passed for a second reading a bill seeking to make room for Nigerians living outside the country to vote during general elections. The bill was sponsored by the Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, and the lawmaker representing Sabongari Federal Constituency, Kaduna State, Sadiq Abdullahi. Abdullahi, while leading the debates on the bill's general principles, argued that Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, grants citizens the fundamental right of freedom of expression and opinion. He noted that regardless of the locations of Nigerians, it is their fundamental right to exercise civic responsibility in choosing leaders for the various arms of government in their country. Minister of Women Affairs Uju Kennedy Ohanenye has debunked allegations leveled against her over misappropriation of funds, overspending and not paying contractors for jobs delivered. After a charged interactive session between the minister and the Committee on Women Affairs and Social Development, chaired by Honorable Kafilat Obara. The session was forced to be adjourned till further notice. The minister was asked to respond to questions concerning funds that were meant for the office of the African First Lady's Peace Mission and to account for award letter of contracts in the ministry, details of expected quantities, evidence of payment, and project completion certificate, amongst others. She was also accused of using 45 million naira for children's party at New Year, 20 million naira for the purchase of baby products for the annual welcoming of New Year babies, and 1.5 million naira for the purchase of fuel from Abuja to Anambra. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, staged nationwide protests within campuses of public universities to demand the immediate release of their withheld salaries. In Abia State University, our correspondent Kingsley Chibike observed that the displeased workers marched around the university community to press home their demands. The aggrieved workers had several inscriptions on their placards as they marched around the university campus, calling on the federal government to release their withheld salaries and implement their other outstanding demands. They called on the political leaders to reduce governance costs and call down their opulence lifestyles to meet their financial demands. You're watching ENYIMBA TV News. After the short break, the news continues with foreign, business, and sports update. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. Now the news continues, and we begin with foreign. Cars stolen in Western countries are increasingly finding their way into Ghana. Digit Paul reports that Ghana was the preferred destination for criminal organizations dealing in stolen vehicles. Digitpol is a criminal investigation agency headquartered in the Netherlands that provides expertise in forensics, investigation, tracing, and intelligence. The report said suspects take advantage of Ghana's National Road Transport Agency's lack of interest in addressing car theft, with local law enforcement seemingly turning a blind eye. The report also said movement patterns of the stolen cars suggest that they often end up in private hands. Digitpol also named Togo and Burkina Faso as preferred hubs for stolen vehicles in West Africa. And on business, Group Chief Executive Officer GCEO of Nigerian National Petroleum Company NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, says talks are ongoing for a new oil-backed loan to finance operations and allow investment in its business. Kyari said NNPC wants a loan against 30,000 to 35,000 barrels per day PBD of crude production, but declined to say how much money it sought. He said the cash raised would be used for all of NNPC's business activities, including supporting production growth. Kyari added that he expects to conclude the deal in the next 2 months. According to the report, 2 sources familiar with the situation told Reuters that NNPC aims to raise at least $2 billion. And finally, from sports, Super Falcons will lead a Nigerian contingent of 86 athletes competing in 12 sports at the Paris 2024 Olympics. The Sports Ministry announced that a breakdown of the country's flag bearers at the Olympics, which will get underway with the Super Falcons opening group game against South American champions Brazil on July 25 in Bordeaux. The athletes are currently on foreign training tours, with the Super Falcons putting finishing touches to their preparations in Sevilla, Spain. The country will also feature in 4 sports at the Paralympics. Sports Minister John Eno said the contingent have received the full support of the federal government to fly high in Paris. With the sports story, we'll wrap up this edition of News on ENYIMBA TV at this time. But before we go, here is a recap of the top stories. In the news, we told you Abia State government has ordered reversal of command promotions granted in the civil service over the past 8 years. We also told you that the federal government is set to send 2,700 fertilizer trucks to states to tackle food insecurity. And we also told you that President Tinubu has created Ministry for Livestock Development to stop farmers' headers clash. That's our package of news for now. Please join us for more updates in our subsequent bulletins. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the production team, I am Mary Ihejirika saying do have yourself a lovely day.